I also explain to students that even though the numbers are in word form, they're still important. There we go. Not only will I circle June 1903, I will also circle from 60 to 55 hours. Those numbers are important. I would also circle 16, which is the age or the age cap of what the children worked. I would also scan and continue to circle children were under 16. So these are also numbers that you want to pay attention to. Out of 6, that's a percentage. So that's a math building exercise. We can maybe go into discourse about what a sixth is in the sense of fractions, and maybe go off on a tangent and talk about that in relation to the math, or maybe they're doing something in that math spectrum, so that we can go through discourse in there so that we can bridge the gap between the two. And then I look for other numbers. So I underline each topic sentence. That'll kind of give me clue, and I will think about and walk through how to take a look at the topic sentence and see if it relates to the rest of the paragraph. So for instance, it was 80,000. So for instance, on paragraph 2, I would say, okay, in countless shacks and shanties across the country, she had tied the shoes of children, wiped their noses, hugged them while they cried, scrambled to find food for them, fought for their rights. Now in this smaller paragraph, it kind of gave us a gist of what she has done, what she's done for the kids. So it seems as if as a teacher, she did more than just teach. She was there for the kids. She cared for the kids. She loved the kids. So let's take a look at maybe what the rest of the paragraph is saying. By the turn of the century, almost 2 million children under the age of 16 worked in mills, factories, and mines. Images of the child Mother Jones had seen stayed with her. The torn, bleeding fingers of beaker boys, the mill children living on coffee and stale bread. So it seems as if this Mother Jones was very engaged in the kids, and she just happened to notice that maybe some of them stopped going to class, or they showed up and she could see that things, they're bleeding and their fingers and they look sore and they look tired, and she showed some concern here. So this, oops, it's not going to be a straight line. So the topic sentence here will help towards the paragraph summary. So the topic sentence is an indication of what you should include. So I would include in my, based on my topic sentence, it's telling me that she's done a lot for these kids and she's working very hard to help them. And then we can get into detail on maybe what she's doing. So these also lead to inferences. The topic sentence can always lead to an inference. So me thinking out loud, I'm thinking, wow, maybe she's going to continue on and give more effort to try to help the children on a larger scale. So for me, the topic sentences really give you a clue on what the rest of the paragraphs are about. So underlying topic sentences is a close read strategy that I use. And then we're gonna box vocabulary. Here we don't have anything in bold. So for the third paragraph, I'm gonna read through it and I'm gonna look for a word that seems, maybe something that I may not know. So I'm gonna, model and pretend. Nationwide, 80,000. So I'm gonna look at the word treacherous, and I'm going to use my context clue. So I don't really know what treacherous means. So I'm going to continue to read through the text. And I also notice that some of their hands were off. So if kids are working and doing something with treacherous machinery, and this treacherous machinery is causing some of the children's hands to be off, and also causing some of their fingers and knuckles to be missing, I'm gonna assume that something treacherous is something that's like it's either bad or, and forgive my handwriting, or harmful. And I'm gonna say, wow, that would be my definition for the word treacherous. And then I would encourage the students to, if the word is common and there's, maybe half of the students have the same word, we'll take a second and I'll go through the dictionary and we'll look at it. We'll take a look and see if it's relative to what they're saying. And then we can get into synonyms and antonyms and how words have different spellings and different lengths, but they can have the same meaning, and that's okay. So then I'll dip into grammar for a second, have that discussion with them, and then we'll get right back to what we are discussing in the text. So with my teaching style, I like to do that. I like to span across the spectrum of ELA if holds a lot of weight. Like if there's an engagement in the students in that aspect, and then we can get back and we'll recoil and get back to what we are planning to do. So we have that there. We have our underlined topic sentences. We have our circled dates and numbers. We have our box vocabulary. And then again, on the side, we'll have our paragraph summary. So for this summary, based on this topic sentence, I would say Mother Jones is fighting for their rights, or is beginning to fight for their rights and doing what she can to help the children, or noticing that the children are going through things that are tough and hard, and she doesn't understand, or she's trying to find understanding for it. That would be my paragraph. For the children, I would say write something simple. I always tell my children, when you're doing a paragraph summary, the summary in this case, because it is annotation, you don't need to have complete sentences. You want a few words to kind of give you a gist of what's happening in this paragraph. So when you go back to the paragraph, you can say, hey, okay, I see that this is happening. That's not what I'm looking for, or that is what I'm looking for. Let me continue and read this paragraph one more time to make sure it verifies what I'm looking for when they get to questions regarding the text. So the close reading strategy is just a front load of work to help them build understanding. So once they get to the questions, if they forgot or don't remember, they can automatically go back and reference the text, and then they have little signals and signs to help them get back to what they need so that they can move forward. So think, pair, share. And this is what we would do together. On the next page, we will co-read. We will take turns. A person will read from a table or a section, and then we'll move from group to group. And then I'll even jump in and read a paragraph. And then we can discuss, and even, like I said before, discuss the meanings and using some content clues. And I can give them some clues to kind of help them think out loud. And I can ask them, hey, how did you come up with the meaning for that? And then that's something we can all share. We can all together share ideas and help do that. So for the students, and I would allow them to read the rest of the text, which would be pages 7 through 9. I would continue to promote and have them make sure that they're using close reading strategies, and they're putting in their inferences and predictions in their notebook as their notes or their summary notes. Typically it will be in the book, a workbook if they have one. If not, we can still do this with an original text and a notebook on the side. It just mapping out and modeling on how to organize that properly so that they can go back and it is neatly organized. They will identify vocabulary words. I may give them 2 or 3. I want you to identify 2 or 3. I typically don't like to give kids a ton of vocabulary words because I want them to know and understand the ones that I'm giving them so that we can use them in life and have firm understanding of them. And I'd have the students complete the questions in the back, which would be 1 through 5 on page 10 of the workbook. And then for my closure, I would ask the students again, who is Mother Jones? And I would strongly promote them to make sure that they are using their own words and speaking from the heart, speaking from passion, and being honest with their opinion. I encourage that. Aside from inappropriate words, I say, hey, it's okay to express how you feel. It's okay to express what you think of this person based on the information that you have. Different periods really promote the social emotional learning aspect, which is focus, empathy, concentration, consistency, self-control. All of those things I like to incorporate, and I relate them to real life, which is why I'm really leaning toward either higher upper grade elementary or middle school, because I like to help them build their social emotional skill set, which also allows me to get an understanding of them and get an understanding of me, which makes that pathway easy as far as communication. We understand each other. We understand what's happening in the moment. We can have that, and then we can de-escalate any situations or tensions that may happen, because I understand that kids in school is a very stressful time, especially now. You're learning something new every day. You're dealing with social pressures. So I totally understand the children, and I love teaching, and I love connecting with them. And this will be my closure. But my summative assessment would just be looking at what answers they have prescribed, annotated their text to see if they have a firm understanding. So the understanding will come from them and how they answered their free writing questions. Um, that's going to conclude my lesson. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you. Let me stop sharing, and I appreciate you. Bye. Have a good day.